try this mission out. Heading over to Prineville Reservoir. Going to meet up with like four other motor pilots. Sun is just coming up. I think we're at about 6:29. Just left Redmond, and supposed to be flying this like canyon this morning. So we'll see what happens. These high altitude launches just are a little gnarly. I don't even know what the altitude was, but I could tell that I was struggling to lift me up. And you can see I was running for my life to get off the ground. This plane was just sitting there, going through his checklist. Probably I was the last one off the ground, and then once I finally decided to launch and I'm airborne, the plane decides to start hooking a right onto the runway. Kind of had to cut in front of him, felt like a dick, really nothing I could do, just give him a little wave, like, sorry bro. So I had no idea what we were getting ourselves into with this flight. I didn't know it was going to be so epic. And we took off in about 5-10 minutes down from the Prineville airport, run into this canyon, and just start diving and dipping down into it. It was just absolutely epic. It was David, Scott, and Mike, and I on this flight, 4 of us sessioning. We flew for like an hour and 20 minutes. This was like my, maybe my 3rd flight on the Hadron. First flight on the new harness I got from Anthony Vella. Gravity paramotors harness is pretty much like the Super Evo, I guess. The side reserve pocket was on there, and another pocket, an undersea pocket. But I've never got to fly in anything like this, you know, like a legit mini Grand Canyon with just walls you could just kind of carve right down. It was just unbelievable in my book. This was out in Prineville, Oregon. And this canyon ends up heading to the Prineville Reservoir, which we flew there this weekend. But, you know, there's a lot of fire smoke in the air right now, and you cannot see as clear as this day was right here that I filmed. The shots I got were just absolutely spectacular. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of places to land. I mean, you could. Just, you know, I wasn't too comfortable getting super low over the water. I mean, I'd rather just bail right into a tree, even though the water's moving not super fast. But I mean, you fill up a glider with water and the game's pretty much over. Good luck. The thing's just gonna start dragging you down and out, and wherever it feels like dragging you, you ain't gonna have much say in what's gonna happen. I mean, it happens quick. So I tried to keep a little bit of altitude and didn't get too low, but got some good shots of the homies flying pretty low. And you know, I still don't have flotation, so that's the next on the list. Once I get rid of my one of my free flight wings, I'm selling my advanced Sigma 9 25 meters. So if you're interested, hit me up. I got you. I mean, you know, $1,500 or something I was gonna get rid of it for. Get some floats, maybe upgrade the reserve. What else was I gonna get? That's pretty much it, I guess. You know, stuffed sack or something. And maybe a motor cover for taking these trips. I mean, this is like a 3.5 hour trek from my house, but luckily the in-laws live down there, so it's not too bad. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I was getting some great shots of the boys. Stuff, things, you know, things dreams are made of right here, that's for sure. This Hadron XX made by Dudex, a 22 meter, it's just an absolute rocket ship. I mean, I need to consistently like weave in and out and do figure 8s to fall back. because I just keep catching up to everyone. Then when I dump the trimmers and get on bar, goodness, the thing is just an absolute bullet. I don't even know how fast it does. I need to test it out with the GPS or some type of app on the phone here next time. One of these flights coming up. I mainly just wanted somebody in front of me because I didn't know this terrain, and I mean, at any minute, power lines could just blast out in front of us going across this canyon or river or whatever. So David is the one who pretty much led the show up there on the U-turn Progress. I think he's rocking on with a Maverick, Parajet Maverick or something. I guess Scott's on the Gravity right there to my right. The BGD Luna 2 wing, I think he's on. And then we've got David back there on the Scout Carbon with Nivea Cougar 2, he might be flying. And yeah, that's the lineup of all the rigs. I'm shredding the custom Parajet Evolution 2 macro with the Federazi MY20 on there. I kind of built myself. One of my buddies gave me this frame, so can't be free. I mean, and the thing is just built like a tank, super rugged. I mean, I snapped my ankle on this motor last year, pounding in to a groundhog hole in a sketchy wing that pretty much dropped me out of the sky, and I snapped my tibia and fibia on my right ankle, and the frame just kind of laughed. Nothing even happened to it. Me, there's nothing like just coming up on this wall and then just flying over the top of it and just kind of diving off to the side. It just felt like nothing I've ever experienced before. Super badass. This was like the only spot that I saw power lines on this whole mission, but I kept nice and high, both going down and coming back through the canyon. Not much room for error. Just risking it for the biscuit. Bunch of people camping on the side of the river, just hooting and hollering, they're waving, kids out there just jumping for joy. It's pretty cool. I felt like we were probably waking them all up, but I mean, it was probably like, I don't even know, 7:30, 8 o'clock by then. I mean, once the sun comes out and you're in a tent, it's pretty much game over. You're waking up, tent starts heating up. I mean, it was a little brisk down in the canyon though. I mean, I had a couple layers on, you know, two sets of pants with a thermal layer underneath the main pants, I guess, and then a t-shirt, Columbia Omni Heat, long sleeve with my flannel and my down coat with a neck warmer. But I mean, spicing a little adrenaline in there and stay nice and warm. Here you can see I'm just catching up to Dave on that U-turn progress pretty quick, so I kind of divert up the hill a little bit, try to have him creep ahead. I've just heard the stories about the power lines or something somewhere, so I was just like waiting, and come to find out there's only like 1 or 2 crossings, and it was over back in that green field where we kind of went around the other side of the canyon wall, never even saw him till the ride back, or the flight back, I guess. This past weekend we flew on the north side of this canyon over at the reservoir, over by the dam, and I saw some other power lines up there. But once we hit the end of this trek, we're by that chimney rock. It's like we're only 3 turns away from the dam and the reservoir. But the wind started picking up. You know, once we got to the end of this flight, as you can see when I just kind of circle around that chimney rock thing, you're getting a little turbulent. Nothing too serious coming from a paragliding background, but I saw one of the buddies ended up just beelining back to the airport after that. Didn't know if he had a little pucker factor, possible leakage or something, you know. If you're not used to the bumps, and will definitely pucker you right up. But the rock formations on the side of this river, flying right next to here, was just beautiful. It just looked super cool. Figure just kind of dive right through them and fly right next to them. Worst case, motor dies, I'll just be landing on the road, which I think I saw 2, maybe 3 cars that morning. So it was nice and clear, and you know, you got this nice little patch of grass kind of running down the right side of the river there that you could land on too if shit hit the fan. I've only seen the Grand Canyon once up from above, you know, looking down, and this flight just reminded me of something like that. Like the way I wish I could have seen the Grand Canyon, like dive down in there and fly around it, or touch the water, go hike down. But you know, we were limited. That was like 5 years ago or something. We went out there, and my mom out there, so my mom wasn't down for the hike. I would have loved to get down in there, but that's why this flight was so special to me. I've just never seen nothing like this before. Never mind get to fly something like this. It was just so fun, but a little sketchy. Here you can see that chimney rock out in the distance there up on the left. Looks kind of like a chimney coming out of the mountain. Here I am circling right around it, and see how the wing starts doing a little dance up there, doing a little stripper pole dance. Getting a little gnarly. This is when my buddy Scott ended up just bailing out hard. He's like, peace! Yeah, too many times I just ride up on the top of the wall and dive right into it and kind of carve down like I'm shredding a snowboard down to the bottom of the river and just power back up to the top and do it again. Now we're just taking our time getting back, just playing around. We pretty much explored most of the canyon, and Scott kind of beelined right back for the airport after that chimney rock. I don't know if it was the turbulence, or he was low on gas, or what it was, but Dave, Mike, and I kind of took our time, just creeping back through the canyon, just taking pretty much the same route we took there, but you know, just staying nice and low and checking everything out. But we eventually made it back to the airport for some solid landings. Here we are back at the airport. Just took like a lap or two, kind of getting used to coming out of this harness. It's high altitude. Felt like I was coming in at Mach 10, but that's just how this Hadron flies. I just tried using the flaps on this glider this weekend. Slowed it down a little bit on launch and landing. But I had to borrow David's prop because the day before I tripped and like, kind of bruised my heel. Luckily, the wing caught me from falling on my face, but I did hit the cage on the ground when I tripped and blasted the helix into pieces. So luckily, David, I just met this day, absolute stranger in a way, just let me borrow a Z-prop. So thanks for that, man, because I would have never been able to fly this flight without it. You're a lifesaver. Well, sick. Mission successful. Pretty stoked. Looks like we got some guts on there. Yeah. There's one way. Not bad.